I was just thinking tonight of being like a Q&A kind of thing. So just to start with, do you have any questions that you came with ready about, particularly about English grammar?
Well, wait. Actually, I'm studying about English grammar now. Not English grammar, but
Yeah.
yeah, let me see.
Yeah. Sure.
Can you please explain to me what's the difference between uh, present perfect progressive and past perfect progressive?
So with the progressive, we'll just put that aside for a second because the progressive we can look at later quite easily. The first important question is what's the difference between present perfect and past perfect? And the main question, the main way of thinking about this so that you can answer this and look at the difference is, first of all, why perfect, and why do we use past perfect? So, do you know why do we use present perfect? So there are three basic reasons why. You could say one of the first ones, or the first one, is life experience.
Life experience.
Okay.
Okay.
So you don't give details of exactly when it happens. It's just it's like a list of things that you have done in your life.
Okay.
Okay. 10 countries, or something like this. So something in your life. I have played 7 different types of sport in my life. So life experience phrases, you can often finish it with "in my life I have done this, I have done that." So that's the first main reason why we use present perfect. The second one is for actions that started in the past and not finished. Okay.
Finish.
Now, usually this is the situation where you can use present perfect simple and present perfect continuous. So this one you can say, I have lived in Australia for 10 years. So it's this second reason why we use present perfect that we can use the progressive form. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep, I get it.
And the third one is yeah. So the third one is for actions that happen in the past recently, and they're still important at the time of speaking in the context. Happened in the past, but still important, or but important for the context when speaking. So, Rivaldi, do you have any questions about this?
Little bit.
No, I got it.
Well,
So you got it. And I go into this in another video and we look at some examples.
Well, can you explain again about what you just talking, because I get not the whole information as well.
Yeah, sure. So just briefly, present perfect. We use the 3 reasons we use present perfect to talk about our life experiences. So the things that you have done in your lifetime.
Yeah.
And you don't say, yeah, present perfect. These are all present perfect.
Yeah.
You don't say exactly when. And a good test is you can say in my life, and And then you can say, I have done this, I have done this, I have done this. The second one, actions that started in the past and not finished, this is the one where you can use the continuous form. So I can ask you in the continuous form,
Okay.
I can ask you, how long have you been studying English?
I am studying English since I was in high school. I have been studying.
Now, did you say I am studying English? Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Good.
First,
so this is
saying
present
I am studying
perfect.
English.
So, okay. Now, past perfect. If we could just have a look and think about present perfect. Present perfect is very, very important and very useful, and it's used all the time. Past simple is used all the time. It's very important. Present simple, present continuous, they're all used all the time. Past perfect is less common. So, do you guys have any ideas why do we use past perfect? No? Why do you think we use past perfect?
I think we use past perfect for for two event that happened in past. One event happened before. One event happened for one event, just like. Or am I wrong?
Okay. But why? No, you're not wrong. But it does. I don't think it's helpful. So why? What does that mean? What does that tell you? So the past of the past.
I don't know how to. But I have an example.
Yep.
So
what's the example?
We had been talking for 20 minutes before someone came.
Okay.
What about it?
So this is a good thing to consider. So we generally use the past perfect together with past simple. So that's one thing to think about. So, so past perfect we do not use by itself. We use it with past simple. Now, with past perfect, we never need to use past perfect. We can always use past simple. Now, let's have a look here. I'm drawing a very rough line here. So imagine these green marks. These green marks are events. Okay. So over here, this is now. Okay, and this is the future. So some people say that the past perfect is the past of the past. So if we look at the first thing, if we're telling a story, we don't need past perfect. We can just use past simple. So we can say past simple, then past simple, then past simple, and that progresses the story. So the reason why we use past perfect is if you're telling a story and you forget something, and then the person you're talking to gets confused, and it's because you forgot to tell them some information, so you can go back and tell them something that happened before that point. Does that make sense? Now, let me just continue again. So we can use, if you're telling a story in the past, and then you're telling it in order. One thing happened and then the other, but then you forgot to tell one part of the story. You can use perfect to fill in the. Now type which part.
Your explanation about.
Now I'll give you a bit more of another detail. Yeah. Well, so another reason why we use past perfect is to add suspense in a story. To add suspense in a story. So so if we look at, say, another example, let's say okay, I woke up. Okay, past simple, I got ready for work. Okay, I left my house. Okay, all past simple, I walked to the bus stop. Okay, the bus came. I got on the bus. And then I realized that I had forgotten my wallet. Now, if we have a look at this, this is a very simple story. But if we think about this story, what I'm trying to do, if I tell you, I woke up, I got ready for work, I forgot my wallet, I left my house, I walked to the bus stop, it ruins the surprise. We use the past perfect in a story at the end to add a surprise. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now this is the thing. We never need to use past perfect. Okay, so we need past simple. Past simple is essential. Yeah, we need past simple to talk about the past.
Okay.
Now, past perfect is interesting, and past perfect is useful, essential. Past simple is essential. Without past simple, we cannot tell a story about the past. So, if we go back to your example before, what was your example? Okay, so if we have a look at here, you got your example up there, right? We had been talking for 20 minutes before someone came. Okay, so that's okay. That's a correct sentence, but we don't need to use that. Okay, another example is just past simple talk for 20 minutes, then someone came. So that's the same.
Okay.
Now, that's two different ways to talk about the same thing. Maybe in the green example, in the past perfect example, you're trying to emphasize the amount of time that you're talking, or maybe you're trying to emphasize. If we put it into a context, before James came. So if we say we had been talking for 20 minutes before James came, maybe we say it like that because we're emphasizing the fact that James is late. Okay, so that's emphasis on something like this. In the blue one, We talked for 20 minutes, then James came. It's just a description of the facts of what happened.
Oh, okay.
So the past simple is the best and most common way to say this. And the reason why somebody might say we had been talking for 20 minutes before James came, somebody will say that to emphasize that James is late, or to emphasize the amount of time they were talking before James came.
Oh, okay.
So the main thing is, if you're using past perfect and you don't know why, then you shouldn't use it. Before you use it, you need to know why. And what I'd recommend, just going back and double checking that you know why we use past simple, why we use present perfect, why we use present continuous and present simple, and why we use going to for future and will for future. So these are the essential ones. These are the ones that you need to know before you worry about past perfect. Past perfect is a not essential part of grammar. It's a useful, interesting part.
Oh, so many people.
Yeah.
Many people use past tense. Not. I mean. Oh, I'm sorry.
So if you yeah. No. What are you saying? So past tense is not anything. So when you say past tense, you need to say past simple.
Past simple.
So that's correct. So past simple, yeah. So past simple is essential. If you're telling a story about the past, you 100% need past simple, and you don't need anything else. Okay. So if you think about like a body, a person, past simple is okay. Past simple is the main structure of the story about the past, and then you can add details around the skeleton, around the story. The way you can add details is past perfect, past continuous, adjectives, adverbs, relative clauses, conditional sentences, that kind of thing. But the skeleton of a story about the past in English is simple.
Past simple. Okay, got it.
And if you only use past simple, you can tell a story in the past perfectly, and people will understand.
Okay.
So past simple is the most important one when you're talking about the past. Everything else, past perfect, it's interesting and adds extra details. Now, do you have any other question or anything else? What time? Oh, extra details about the story. The main point, yeah. Past simple is the main story about the past, the most important facts. Everything else is extra details and makes it more interesting or more creative, that kind of thing. So if you only use past simple, sometimes, depending on what you're doing, it's a little bit boring. But if your goal is communication, then past simple is the main one. To make your story more interesting, you use past simple and other things like past continuous or past perfect.
Okay.
See this page. This is from the UniBRIDGE website. I'm trying to put up some grammar points. The most common things. So that one's about present perfect. This one is about past simple.
Okay.
Okay. So you can get some tense information there. There's also, are you able to watch videos very often?
Video? Well, not
or
really.
not? Yeah. Not really. So there's no Wi-Fi at uni, is there?
Yeah.
Can you use Wi-Fi to watch videos?
What video?
Because it's like this video. I'm gonna just show you. Hold on a second. Like this video. That is there. This is where we talk about tenses a lot.
Okay, I will have a look. Oh, that video.
Yeah, and this one. Oh wait. Yeah, so I don't know if you saw that video. This is another video where I talk.
Yeah. I think I've seen that before.
Yeah. So, yeah, good. So, but the main thing is, yeah, don't worry too much about the test. Just focus on the language, and then things will happen. And especially if you can, try to catch up with Australian students as well. So you study grammar by yourself with the textbook or with the online stuff, and then you practice the language with the Australian students.
I think it's easier.
So you study and then you practice, and that's how you improve.
Yep. Okay.
Easier to what?
I think it's easier to reading some story than speaking English, because yeah, sometimes my mind is just empty.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point. And of course it's easier to read. Now, what you need to do, you need to study the grammar, you need to read, you need to speak. You need to do all of them.
Yep. That is.
And the more you do, the better you get.
Yep.
Yeah, you just need to don't worry and just do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Maybe later.
I've got to go. It's almost 10 p.m. here, and I'm going to get to bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terima kasih.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much for coming. No, thank you, and we'll talk more later.
Okay, see you.
Okay, see you later.